Welcome to Holy Motivation, a channel dedicated to inspiring and empowering you to reach your full potential. Here, we will explore the power of the mind, personal growth, and strategies to achieve your goals. If you are seeking transformation, growth, and motivation to face challenges, you are in the right place. Life is full of obstacles, moments of doubt, and times when we feel lost. However, believe that you have the strength within you to overcome any adversity and achieve great things. Through inspiring stories, deep reflections, and practical advice, we will expand your mind on your self-development journey. I believe that every person has unlimited potential waiting to be awakened. With determination, persistence, and a positive mindset, you can conquer your dreams and accomplish extraordinary things. Together, we will explore the power of motivation and cultivate a winning mentality to propel your life towards success. So, don't wait any longer. Get ready to motivate yourself, get inspired, and discover the power that exists within you. Let's embark on this journey of personal growth together. Remember, your potential is infinite. Once considered the most powerful man in the known world, Marcus Aurelius, through Stoic principles, sought to live a virtuous life. Unlike many Roman emperors, he did not indulge in accessible pleasures such as drunkenness with wine and sadistic games at the Colosseum. Marcus Aurelius had the goal of fulfilling the task assigned to him by fortune, to serve humanity. For this reason, he intensely cared about fulfilling his purpose. However, to do so, it was necessary to detach himself from unworthy and imprudent things of value. One of the fundamental concepts of Stoicism is the distinction between what we can control and what we cannot, as clearly explained by Epictetus and Quiridian. Most things, if not all, except for our own actions, are not under our control. Does this mean we should abandon the world? Not necessarily. When life hurts us, it is often because we care about things we cannot control, thus allowing them to control and manipulate us like puppets. Instead, we blame the manipulators for pulling our strings, when in reality, it is we who allow it. However, if we stop caring about these things, they will lose power over us and fall silent. For Marcus Aurelius, not being shaken by things beyond his control enabled him to face the countless responsibilities and challenges as an emperor, focusing on the task he believed he had received from the gods. In his meditations, Marcus Aurelius repeatedly addresses the distinction between the present, the past, and the future. In each of these categories, the ancient Roman emperor offers valuable insights into how we overly concern ourselves with them, or in misguided ways, and what we mistakenly seek for clarity and structure. This essay explores these categories, starting with the future. As Seneca once stated, we suffer more often in imagination than in reality. This implies that our thoughts are the source of our suffering when it comes to the future. Our imagination often runs wild, inventing countless situations that may occur but are unlikely to ever happen. In advance, we ponder how to deal with potential outcomes while trembling in the face of uncertainty about how the future will unfold. In some situations, what transpires aligns with what we anticipated, but in many others, fortune surprises us with unforeseeable events. For example, we may have spent years preparing for a well-deserved retirement, only to receive a terminal cancer diagnosis a few months before entering that golden phase of life. The possibility of such events leads many people to worry constantly. The best and worst can happen. What if a third world war breaks out? What if I lose all my money? Such adverse outcomes are plausible, but as long as they are not occurring in the present, we cannot deal with them because these events simply aren't happening, at least not yet. They exist only in our thoughts. The future bothers us only because we think about it, since it doesn't exist outside of our minds. Marcus Aurelius wrote that it is not the weight of the future that oppresses us, but rather the weight of the present. It is not the future that hurts us, but rather how we deal with it in the present. Suffering in relation to the future occurs in the present. And ironically, it is not the future unfolding in the present, because by the time we encounter it, it has already become the present. The misery lies in worrying about the future in the present. When we overly concern ourselves with future events, life becomes painful as we suffer in advance in our imagination, allowing these concerns to dictate our present. So, what does Marcus Aurelius have to say about caring too much about the future? Firstly, let us consider the following quote: "Never let the future disturb you. You will meet it, if you have to, with the same weapons of reason which today arm you against the present." Marcus Aurelius observed that if we are capable of dealing with the present, we will also be capable of dealing with the future. He advised not to imagine all possible terrible events, but rather to focus on the current situation. By focusing on the present, he realized that he could endure it. And if that were true, why wouldn't he be able to handle what was to come? This attitude resembles the idea of amor fati, the love of fate, but strengthened with the confidence that we will be able to overcome it when it arrives. Marcus Aurelius remembered how existence is ephemeral and disappears into the infinite beyond our reach. The past, just like the future, is a domain in which we cannot operate. What has already been. And unless a time machine is invented, we cannot change anything about it. Marcus Aurelius affirmed, "Remember that man lives only in the present, in this fleeting moment. All the rest of your life is in the past and gone, or yet to be revealed. Thus, short is a man's life, and narrow the space of earth where he dwells." Despite the limitation of our lives to the present moment, we often overly occupy ourselves with those areas that lie beyond it and are inaccessible, the future and the past. Marcus Aurelius claimed that the past holds little significance and is indifferent in the present. This does not mean that past events do not influence the present or that we cannot learn from them. We simply acknowledge that we cannot deal with the past as it is beyond our reach. Often, our memories of the past are muddled, and the means to verify what truly occurred are limited. We rely on personal recollections and different perspectives from ourselves and others. Therefore, not only is the past beyond our reach, but our memories of it are likely inaccurate. Yet, we continue to care about past events, replaying them in our minds and reliving the pain they caused us. Some believe that by thinking about the past, we can exert some control over it, but this is an illusion. The past is gone. All we attempt to control are our thoughts about something that is already gone and will not return. "I wish I had done it differently." Many people say this, but they wish for the impossible. Nothing can be gained from such thoughts, as they evoke desires that we can never fulfill. Marcus Aurelius, instead of focusing on past events themselves, directed his attention to his reaction to them. We cannot control past events. We likely could not have even prevented them when they occurred in the present. But we can control how we position ourselves in relation to these events. Initially, we can consider the past as something unfortunate. We may have had a difficult childhood or experienced the end of friendships or failed business ventures. However, according to Marcus Aurelius, the nature of these events is not as important. What matters is how we deal with them. Is it unfortunate that this has happened? No, it is fortunate that this has happened and that I have remained unharmed by it, not shaken by the present or fearful of the future. It could have happened to anyone, but not everyone could have come out unharmed. Why treat one as misfortune and the other as luck? Can you really call something misfortune that does not violate human nature? Or do you think that something that is not against the will of nature can violate it? But do you know what its will is? Does what happened prevent you from acting with justice, generosity, self-control, sanity, prudence, honesty, humility, frankness, and all the other qualities that allow a person's nature to be realized? Interestingly, Marcus Aurelius does not completely dismiss the value of the past. He believed that we could learn from the past by observing its rhythm, how things come and go, repeating themselves so that we can extrapolate into the future. The present, according to Marcus Aurelius, is all we have. It is the narrow field we have access to from the present. We can contemplate the endless abyss of the past and the impenetrable darkness of the future. Marcus Aurelius encouraged himself to stay with what was under his control, this moment. However, even when we set aside the past and minimize our concerns about the future, we can still care too much about things that are not worth it. Often, we become dissatisfied with how life unfolds in a particular moment. And when things don't happen as we wish, we tend to get angry, sad, or depressed. But, according to Marcus Aurelius, becoming emotionally disturbed by what fortune throws at us is futile. How the world around us unfolds is not in our hands. How we react to it is. Marcus Aurelius stated that we should not fight against what we are compelled to do. He compared people who struggle against fortune to pigs that squeal and kick when they are being slaughtered. It is of no use, for we cannot prevent what God has reserved for us. We cannot control the wars people wish to wage, the natural disasters that occur, or the aging of our bodies. We do not have the power to force the world to fulfill our desires. We also cannot guarantee reciprocity in attractions or equal opportunities for all human beings. It simply is not possible. However, we often spend time and energy resisting what we cannot change. We become angry when we don't get what we want and sad when things happen that we don't like. Thus, the present moment becomes a torture chamber where we suffer every whim of fortune or desperately cling to it, afraid of losing what we have. Marcus Aurelius teaches us to see what is truly in our hands, our choices, actions, and opinions. He invites us to embrace the law of nature as our teacher, accepting its ways instead of fleeing from or feeling anger towards them. We should focus our energy on dealing with present circumstances rather than wasting it on disgust or clinging to situations. We should accept the present, focusing on what we have, not on what we lack, but with caution. This approach liberates us from the suffering caused by resistance to the inevitable and allows us to direct our attention to what is within our control. It is an invitation to live the present with wisdom and acceptance, doing our best with what we have and seeking the fulfillment of our most genuine nature. I quote, "Consider what you don't have as non-existent. Look at what you do have, the things you value most, and reflect on how much you would desire them if you lost them. But be careful. Don't satisfy yourself so much that you overvalue them and become disturbed by the thought of losing them." Accepting circumstances can be challenging, especially when we face significant difficulties and life presents us with constant challenges. However, for Marcus Aurelius, adversity is not an excuse to act like squealing and screaming pigs. It is an opportunity to practice virtue and apply Stoic principles in our lives. The art of living does not depend on how amazing and fortunate our external circumstances are because they are volatile, fragile, and beyond our control. It is about how we face the events we encounter. That is what truly holds value, according to the Stoics. As Marcus Aurelius stated, "To me, the present is an opportunity to exercise rational virtue, civic virtue. It is the art that humans share with the gods. Both regard everything that happens as completely natural, not as something new or difficult to handle, but as something familiar and easily controllable." Sending you a hug and blessings.